Good morning and welcome to RMU Live. I'm Gage Golding.
And I'm John Blinn.
Arctic air is moving into the area today. John, temperatures started this week in the low teens for much of the Pittsburgh region.
It was a cold walk to the studio this morning. Sonu, what do we have to look forward to this morning and for the rest of the week?
Well, today, good afternoon and happy Monday. We have a high of 40 degrees because the temperatures are warming up and a low of 26 with a 42% chance of 20% chance of participation and 42% humidity. And now looking forward to the hourly forecast. We have weather in the low 30s and it feels like 28 degrees currently.
Thank you, Sona. The Public Parking Authority of Pittsburgh announced that the Mon Wharf parking lot in downtown Pittsburgh will reopen today. The lot closed on Friday after the Ohio River was predicted to rise 19.2 feet over the weekend. A flooding warning was issued for the area late last week.
2 men were killed in an accident that took place on the Parkway East Saturday night. State police say that the victims fell from the Parkway and onto 2nd Avenue below after being struck by a vehicle. The 2 victims were standing in between their vehicles when a third vehicle struck them. The victims were then hit by another vehicle driving on 2nd Avenue. That driver was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Authorities released the identities of the victims on Sunday. 39-year-old Landon Manning Jones and 34-year-old Jason Hubert Jackson were those lost in the accident.
After 34 days, the partial government shutdown is over. Friday afternoon, President Donald Trump announced a deal to reopen the government, although it doesn't include any money for the wall along the United States border.
I will sign a bill to open our government for 3 weeks until February 15th. I will make sure that all employees receive their back pay very quickly or as soon as possible.
Trump signed the bill in question Friday night. During the Rose Garden announcement, Trump continued to tout the benefits of a border wall to keep migrants from crossing into the United States illegally. Funding the barrier is something lawmakers will continue to debate, but in the meantime, furloughed employees can get back to work. The president hinted that he could still invoke a national emergency to get money for the wall if Congress does not improve funding to build the structure.
Hillary Clinton is apparently leaving the door open for another run for the White House. 3 sources close to Clinton say she talked with them as recently as last week about the idea of running in 2020. News from the indictments, particularly the Roger Stone indictment, are reportedly factoring in on keeping her options open. CNN says one of the people Clinton talked to said, quote, "It would surprise me greatly if she actually did it."
Training activities by the Millvale Fire Department will close Sherman Street between Farragut Street and Grant Avenue from 6 to 9:30 p.m. today. Officials say the closure is not expected to cause too many backups, but firefighters will be on scene to help with traffic detours. During a house fire in McCandless, firefighters rescued 2 adults and several dogs, according to a 911 dispatcher. The house fire that started Sunday at around 3:30 p.m. on Park Edge Drive. The 2 adults were taken to the hospital and the house was deemed a total loss.
Former Leechburg Police Chief Mike Diebold was released from Westmoreland County Prison on Sunday. Diebold was sentenced to 9 to 23 months in jail in December after soliciting sex from an undercover agent who was posing as a 14-year-old girl. Diebold will now have to serve 3 years of probation.
The latest developments in sex abuse scandals rippling across the region. Father Hugh Lang was arrested for an incident that happened in 2001. Officials say that Lang sexually assaulted a minor. The events occurred when Father Lang was a priest at St. Therese in Lucex in Munhall. According to authorities, the victim was 10 years old at the time. A man accused of going on a shooting rampage in Louisiana is now in custody. Police in Richmond, Virginia say they arrested 21-year-old Dakota Therrett Sunday. Authorities say Therrett shot and killed his girlfriends and 2 of their relatives in Livington. Investigators say he then drove to the parents' home and killed them. Deputies
went to stay at a hotel last night. She called this morning looking for the officers to go by and make sure that the house was safe for her to go into.
Stay.
While the officers were there,
Stay there.
the individual actually drove by. He drove up into the driveway at that time.
Tell him to scroll down the prompter.
Had a pistol in his hand, He had it out of the window.
Down a little bit more.
Officers engaged him. He dropped the firearm and was arrested without
just pick it
incident
up.
from there.
No word on what specific charges he now faces or if he has a lawyer.
Police in Penn Hills are searching for a gunman who allegedly shot a man in a parking lot of the Lounge on Verona Road in Verona. The shooting happened after 48-year-old Paul McMillan got into a fight with the suspect inside the lounge. The suspect later shot McMillan, who was being walked to his car. Police say he was shot several times as he was being escorted to his vehicle. McMillan later died at the hospital.
A man is recovering from multiple stab wounds after he was attacked by a homeless couple that he believed he was helping. David LeGrande of Pittsburgh took two suspects to Roud Street in Pittsburgh last night and was assaulted after removing their luggage. LeGrande was stabbed multiple times with a screwdriver and was then stuffed into his own trunk. The man then escaped using his safety lever and proceeded to flag down police. The two suspects escaped with his car and the investigation is ongoing.
Police say a Somerset County man accidentally shot himself inside an area Walmart. 48-year-old Eric Jack was in the Somerset County Walmart Supercenter when officials say his firearm accidentally went off. Jack was shot in the calf and taken to the hospital for further treatment. Stay connected all the time for all you need to know about news, sports, arts, and entertainment on campus and around the Pittsburgh region. Visit RMUcentralmedia.com.
Coming up after the break, a warning from the CDC linking salmonella to a pet.
And new details on the Mr. Rogers film. Thank you for spending your Monday afternoon with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dad, I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
I was just going to drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out?
Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look! Welcome back to RMU Live. A downtown art museum known as the Mattress Factory has a new interim director. Haley Hadelman was announced as the new interim director of the acclaimed museum. The move comes in the wake of claims that the organization priorly handled sexual assault claims poorly. Hadelman is the wife of Pittsburgh area Congressman Connor Lamb.
Reportedly, the Mr. Rogers movie starring Tom Hanks will be pushed back. The film, titled A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, will be released on November 22nd. According to Sony Pictures, the original release date was October 18th.
On Sunday, coaches from the Robert Morris University Figure Skating Academy traveled to downtown Pittsburgh to take part in a special event. The coaches attended the Princess Skate at the Mass Mutual Rink at PPG Place in downtown Pittsburgh. Children were allowed to skate alongside their favorite fairy tale characters that were dressed as princes and princesses.
If you have a hedgehog, listen up. It's time to nix cuddle time with these little guys. The CDC has linked them to a salmonella outbreak. 11 people in 8 states have gotten sick, and one of them was even hospitalized. All of this started back in October, and 10 of the 11 people said they have been in contact with a pet hedgehog before they got sick. Even hedgehogs that look clean and healthy can carry salmonella, which shows up in their droppings, and it can easily spread to toys, their bed, and really anywhere they go. Symptoms of salmonella infection include fever, diarrhea, and stomach cramps. Be sure to tune in to our other RMU-TV programming, RMU Live on Mondays at 1 p.m. and Fridays at 12 p.m., RMU Tonight at 5:30 p.m. and Colonial Sports Center at 9:30 p.m.
When we come back from the break, Michael Shuley is in the Sports Center getting ready to break things down.
And a new medical marijuana dispensary in the area has been opened. We have all the details. Thank you for joining us this chilly Monday afternoon. We will be right back.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look! A medical marijuana dispensary has opened in East Liberty. The store, Matrix Medicals, is located on Center Avenue and offers leaf oil and patches, among other products.
Following a 37-31 overtime victory over the Kansas City Chiefs, the New England Patriots arrived in Atlanta. This marks the third straight Super Bowl for the Patriots quarterback Tom Brady, who has now been to an NFL record of 9 Super Bowls. Brady has won 5 Super Bowls, tied for the most in NFL history. For Patriots, they set to play the Rams on February 3rd. Kickoff is at 6:30 p.m. For more NFL news, here is RMU Live sports anchor Michael Shuley.
Thank you, John. And yesterday, the 2019 Pro Bowl happened, and it was the AFC that went on to defeat the NFC by a score of 26-7. The New York Jets safety Jamal Adams took home the defensive MVP honors, while Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes took home the offensive MVP award. As for the Steelers in the game, there were a total of 6 that represented the Steel City. Of them were defensive end Cameron Hayward, center Marquise Pouncey, running back James Conner, offensive tackle Alejandro Villanueva, outside linebacker TJ Watt, and wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. Unfortunately for Smith-Schuster, he sustained a knee contusion during the second quarter of the game. Luckily, the injury is considered minor. As for the Penguins, they were also in their All-Star Game festivities this weekend, and they were represented in the festivities by defenseman Chris Letang and captain Sidney Crosby. Prior to the game, Letang finished second behind the Boston Bruins' David Pasternak in the accuracy shooting competition. However, it would be Crosby who stole the show this weekend as he brought home the honor of All-Star Game MVP after registering 5 points in the Metropolitan Division's win over the Central Division in the championship of the NHL All-Star Game. Crosby and Letang will rejoin the rest of the Penguins tonight for the team's game against the New Jersey Devils. The puck will drop at 7 p.m. at PPG Paints Arena. Now we're going to kick it back over to John and Gage at the desk.
Coming up after the break, it was a New York man's lucky day. See how much money he won with a lucky Powerball ticket.
And we dive into today's Health Minute. Stay right with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin? Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
The man who won the $298 million Powerball jackpot is quitting his job as a truck driver. David Johnson showed up Friday to claim his prize and talk about what he plans to do with the money. Andrea Klein-Thomas reports.
David Johnson has 298.3 million reasons to smile. The 56-year-old is the newest Powerball jackpot winner.
I look at the board and like, oh my God, Jesus Christ, oh my God. Oh.
Johnson is a truck driver who was sick on December 26 but had to go to work to get his holiday pay. He filled up at Arnold Service Station on Linden Boulevard in Brooklyn as usual. Inside, he spent $5 on the lottery, which included buying one Powerball ticket, a quick pick random drawing.
A friend of mine, a next driver for the company, called me and said, Dave, somebody won the Powerball by the gas station. I turned to him and said, oh, bro, that's not me, man.
That was for real. Johnson did not check his ticket until 2 days after he bought it. Johnson went back to the gas station this time before work, checked his ticket, and learned he was the big winner.
I was so happy. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was jumping up and down. And when I was driving my car, like, can I drive home? Can I drive home? Can I drive home? I was like, but I just turned the music up.
Johnson hasn't been to work since.
I'm gonna lift boxes and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, the job paid good, but it's hard work, so I always wanted to quit, and now I get a chance to quit.
Now Johnson, a husband and father, plans to buy a new house in Brooklyn and help his family. But there's one more thing.
I always want a Porsche. What color? A red one. A red one, so everybody can see me when I drive on the street.
He'll have plenty of money left over from his cash option to live out his wild.
Thanks, Andrea. After taxes, Johnson will take home more than $114 million. That's quite the payday, isn't it, Gage?
John, that is more than we're getting here, and that would be one heck of a payday. But we all know that eating well and exercising can help you live longer. But a new study reveals additional factors that may determine how long you live. Meredith Wood has more in today's Health Minute.
Gender and body size. Those two factors may help determine how long you live. That's according to a just-released study in the journal BMJ. Researchers found women who lived to the age of 90 were on average taller and had gained less weight since the age of 20. The study found women taller than 5'9" were more than 31% more likely to live into their 90s. That's compared to women who were less than 5'3". For men, though, the biggest factor was physical activity. The study found men who were active at least 90 minutes a day were 39% more likely to live to 90 than men who exercise for less than half an hour a day. Unlike men, the study found that the amount of physical activity that seemed to be ideal for women in terms of longevity, was about 60 minutes a day. For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
Thank you, Meredith. And let's take a look at today's weather. It's chilly. Sonu, please tell me you got something warmer in the forecast.
Well, right now we are looking at mid-30 weather, and it is partly cloudy. And for today, the temperatures are going to drop to 26 degrees, so it's pretty warm compared to tonight. And now looking at our hourly weather forecast, we have still partly cloudy weather. At 3 p.m. it's 39 degrees, which is the highest it'll go, and it's dropping slowly to 36 degrees at 9 p.m. And now we're going back to the desk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sonu. When we come back from the break, Michael Shuley has the breakdown of all the Robert Morris University sports that happened over the weekend.
And Sonu Babu will give us a full look at this week's weather. Stay tuned on RMU Live.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfie. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look! Tanner Kudik, a member of the club golf team and the junior studying business administration, was named the president of the National Collegiate Golf Club Association in last fall's National Invitational. Kudik placed 7th. And now let's go over to Mike Shuley. What happened in sports this weekend?
Thank you, Gage. And there's a lot going on. Very busy weekend in Robert Morris sports, so let's just jump right in. The Robert Morris men's basketball team won their lone game of the weekend when they defeated the Wagner Seahawks on Saturday by a score of 57-51. Malik Petaway led the charge for the Colonials on offense with 13 points, and Matty McConnell added 8 points of his own to go along with a team-leading 12 rebounds to help secure the victory that has put the Colonials first place in the conference with a 7-1 record. They will have another chance to increase their tally in the win column on Thursday when they square off against the St. Francis Red Flash. As for the women's basketball team, they were also in action on Saturday, and they also took on the Wagner Seahawks. This time, they defeated them by a score of 69-46. Nneka Ezebo was a beast inside the paint as she put up 13 points to go along with a staggering 17 rebounds, 9 of which came on the offensive end of the court. Hanoka Ikamatsu and Nina Augustin also added 14 points apiece in the effort as the first-place Colonials will look to put their undefeated conference record on the line against the second-place Sacred Heart Pioneers tonight at 7 p.m. The RMU women's hockey team held their End the Stigma weekend, which was focused on raising money for mental health. They swept the RIT Tigers in the weekend as well in a 2-game series. The Colonials won on Friday by a score of 3-1 and on Saturday by a tally of 2-0. Sophomore defenseman Emily Curlett had 3 goals on the weekend to help bolster the RMU offense. The team will be off next weekend, but they will be back in action in 2 weeks when they travel to Penn State to take on the Nittany Lions. Unfortunately, the men's hockey team did not have as well of a weekend as the women's team as they travel to Colorado to take on the Air Force Falcons in a rematch of last season's AHC championship game. Unfortunately for both games this weekend, they ended with a similar result to last year's championship as the Falcons won both games by a score of 3-1. The Colonials will have a chance to get back in the win column next weekend when the Sacred Heart Pioneers come to town. And that's all we have time for now. We're going to toss it over to Sonu for the weather.
Thank you, Mike. So right now, as you see on the screen, live from the UPMC Event Center, we have partly cloudy weather, and we're not going to see so much rain. And although the high is going to be 40, right now the weather is about in the low 30s. And for today's forecast, we're going to see only a 20% chance of participation. And throughout the week, it's going to get a little bit chillier for our 5-day weather forecast, especially on Wednesday, where it's going to be 9 degrees high and a -2 degrees low. On Thursday, we're going to see a little bit of snow or a little bit of sunshine, and it's going to be cloudy for the rest of the week. Thank you very much. Now let's go back to the desk with Gage and John.
Thank you so much. And of course, we're always worried about that coldness, and we'll have more on that on RMU Live. But of course, you can always stay connected. RMU Century Media is always on. For John Blinn, Mike Shuley, Sonu Babu, I'm Gage Golding. Have a great day.
I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin? I was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfie. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out?
Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look,